cold. It was kind of a crazy week. It was a little bit slow because of the weather, and we had some of our participants weren't able to make it, and so we managed to pull it off though, as we usually do. So welcome, thank you all for coming. Y'all can feel free to squeeze in a little bit more out there if you can't hear. So anyway, my name is Eli Wright. I served as an Army medic from 2002 to 2008. I've been a participant and a facilitator and instructor for the combat paper program since 2007, since its inception. So this program was started as a collaboration between veteran and civilian, and since it began, it's been about the artistic process of collaboration amongst veterans to tell our military to communicate about our military experiences through creative art and writing. So we do that by making handmade paper out of our military uniforms themselves. So through a multi-step process where we deconstruct the uniforms, we pulp them down, we form them into sheets of handmade paper, and the paper becomes the vehicle by which we communicate about our experiences. So the art that you see here on the walls today was produced both this week during the workshop, and some of it is from past workshops as well. So that's us in a nutshell. I'm going to pass it off to Kevin, who will tell you a little bit about Warrior Writers, and we'll go right into our readers for this evening.
Hey everybody, my name is Kevin Basil. I served in the Army from 2003 to 2008. I deployed twice to Iraq, and after I got out of the service, I went back to college, and I really didn't talk about it. So for 2 years, I didn't say anything about my experience. People didn't know that I was already in the Army. So I stayed silent until I found Warrior Writers. Warrior Writers is Combat Paper's partner organization. It focuses on creative writing in the same way that Combat Paper uses art to communicate the experiences. So it's been a real honor and privilege this week to help other participants work through their experiences and use creative writing to tell their stories. Okay? So tonight we're going to hear some of that creative writing. We have chat books out on the table, so please pick one up if you already have it. We don't have enough for everybody, but everybody at least check it out. So with that said, first up we're going to have Eric Daniels. I'll ask participants to please just give a short bio before you read. So with that said, Eric Daniels.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a United States Marine, active duty. Been kind of doing this writing and artwork for probably about since the beginning of December, working with SEMA, and it's been a great experience. Finally got to do combat paper, and it was even a better experience, and I can't wait to do the next one. I've deployed twice, both times to Afghanistan, both times to Marja. I was in the push through Marja, which was the initial invasion, and then I went back for the reconstruction of Marja, which was considerably different. And the push through Marja, it was everything that you expect to see in combat, and then some. And so that's where some of the work that comes today comes from. I got 3 works that I'm gonna read from, and the first one is going to be Jump, which has a dual artwork. It's got the poem and it's got the artwork. It's right back over here. If you can all see the artwork, if you haven't had a chance, that's a friend of mine. Couldn't find the same image of me doing the exact same thing. Marja was a fairly irrigated community of. It's a farming community that was being used to grow poppy and marijuana, and so they used the irrigation ditches to run the water. Well, we would have to cross these ditches in these fields in order to get to the enemy. Across the field would be a machine gun position. We would have to cross the field in an open field. We would get into these ditches, which were about every 300 meters apart, and they're too wide just to step across. You have to stand straight up, you have to run, and you have to jump, which means you have to fully expose yourself. And that's not natural to fully expose yourself to danger. No one just naturally does that. And so I think sometimes you just have to jump. You just have to do something. And that's what we eventually just did. We just started jumping these canals to the point that we were able to jump canals that were 9 feet across. And it was just with full gear on, and we would make it across the other side, and somehow we didn't break a bone. It was a miracle. And that's where that's kind of like where I got the idea from for when we first worked. I jump, you jump, we jump. We jump for joy. We jump start. We jump at the chance. We jump back. We jump around. We jump around. We jump in. We jump rope. We jump the gun. We jump the broom. We jump up. We jump and jack. We jump too. Life is about jumping. This next piece is about the first time I ever put my uniform on, and it's called First Look. Hurry up, don't be the last one. I can't believe this is happening, it's so cool. We all look the same, it's a bit stiff, needs to be washed. Pants are on, where's the belt? What did he say? I can't understand him in that voice. Oh, the belt goes right to left. Grab the boots. Left boot, right foot, yes, tie. Right boot, left foot, yes, tie. Why do my feet hurt? Grab the coat. I can't get my arm in. It's free. Button it up. Stupid fingers, move faster. What do you mean take it off without unbuttoning? Put it back on? Make up your mind. It's on. Grab the hat, run out the door. Look at me. I look like a Marine. This last one, I think this one hurt the most because it's just somewhere where I really didn't want to go. But when I went there, I was glad I did. And it was one of the writing props that when I came back, I was like, who gave me that? Because I really would like to punch them in the face. And it was one of the ones that was over the snow, so they wanted me to do it when I was by myself. So that was even more of a cruel joke. But it's called I Am Human. When I say I'm a Marine, that does not mean that I am not afraid. When I say that I'm a Marine, that does not mean that I am uneducated. When I say that I'm a Marine, it means that I feel more pain, not less. When I say I'm a Marine, it does not mean that I can do anything, everything. When I said I was a husband, it did not mean I would always be there. When I said I was a husband, it meant I loved you for you. When I said I was a husband, it did not mean I'm always strong. When I said I was a husband, it did not mean I could not cry. When I say I am broken, I mean I have no more to give. When I say I am broken, I mean I hurt without pain. When I say I am broken, I mean I've been screaming into nothingness. When I say I am broken, I mean I am human.
Thanks, Eric. I'm actually the one who sent out that prompt.
Yeah. You, me, later.
All right. Okay, next up we have Kim Smith.
I am Captain Kimberly Smith. I've been in the Marine Corps for 8 years. I graduated from Texas A&M University with a degree in kinesiology and nutrition. Played rugby for the Olympics. But I joined the Corps, family tradition, from my father who served in Korea and Vietnam, and then my brother served, and so did my stepfather. I'm a logistics officer and then a martial arts black belt instructor. My deployments were to Afghanistan. I was the first female to deploy with the infantry battalion, and we were the initial invasion into Afghanistan in 2009, the Hilo invasion with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. So I've got two pieces. One goes with the painting, it's on the back wall. Just bear with me, it's kind of long. It's very personal. I think it's something that a lot of us, especially for a lot of my peers that are in here, that these two I've known since the beginning of treatment a long time ago, that I think could relate to this. It's called Road to Recovery of a Wounded Mind. I wake up in a maze of emotions, tired heart that struggles to find the courage to fight. The constant terrors and demons that haunt me night after night that no pill can delete from a warrior's memory. My wounded mind, so hard for others to understand because my wounds and scars are unseen by the naked eye. We finally hit the bottom of that dark hole that we struggle to escape from, but all that surrounds us is empty bottles of liquor. We find ourselves screaming blood tears as they drop from our cheeks because we pushed all who cared away. We are drowning in our own suicide dreams. When my body and soul are agonizing with fatigue, and my memory is of the words written on a paper from a notebook that takes my college-educated mind to a lower league of frustration and mortification, it's hard to keep laboring my will or heart's desire of recovery. The constant anxiety of sweat soaking through my shirt, the shaking blood pumping through my veins that seem to trap me at night and all day, isolating me from the outside of the world with the four walls that protect me from the uncertainty, cold chaos of the outside world. My constant cry of agony and demoralization tears my life like a paper shredder. The monumental volume of blame, guilt, and shame that grip my soul, making it crumble and fade into the darkness of my humanity. Waking up each day knowing that 12 meds is the essential remedy to keep me functioning is just a sword to my internal validation. There's days I wake to feel as if I'm drowning in the middle of the ocean with thousands of gallons of water surrounding me, not knowing which way is up or being 10 feet under, struggling to dig my way out, wondering just how long it will take before I can get that fresh, clean breath of air. Only time will tell. I refuse to give up, so I endure the unyielding pain of success, continuing the daunting struggles and fight of my heart. I stare in the mirror and see an unrecognizable person, as if I was living a life of another in a dream of disbelief. Scared, detached, mourning with the question of who I am. The comfort of my peers, understanding my pain, is what helps keep me driving down the unknown road, until the day I discover a different road, a road which led to my self-determination. In this moment I realize life is too short. Nothing is promised on this earth. In this hour, I've accepted my future and to embrace all that is expected of me. No regrets of any mistake done in the past, for I know my Marines would not want that. The past doesn't define me, nor does what I wear on my collar. It reminds me of what I've been blessed with, and that the present is an honor that we should cherish, and to make it the best of what is acquired. I can see further into the paintings I create. I can feel closer to the language can't reach with the senses of my newfound talents, like a baby bird learning to fly for the very first time. If I can hold an ounce of hope in my hand, enough faith to believe, even as small as a grain of sand, if I can remember the good memories and keep them stowed near as my treasures, if someone walks with me and we can help each other smile with support, then I know I can start to recover and face a new day. Therefore, I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility to make a difference, to be better than I was yesterday. I have begun to take life as an unwrapped gift. Take the time to learn, to be open-minded, and recognize the amazing people who stand by us daily without needing acknowledgement or praise. The complexity of life's challenges should be looked at as a new road to an adventure. So today I open my eyes, and now I see a beautiful smile of my one true love, many helping hands that surround me with their warmth and wholeheartedness. I may have lost part of myself, but have gained a new outlook with a fresh start of life as the sun sets and rises each day. Talents became alive that were once dormant. I have discovered myself to be a greater person. My mind has transcended limitations far beyond what I can see to imagine. One thing I'll always know is forever faithfully, I'll be a U.S. Marine, as a patriot of the American flag will continue to run proudly to the last beat of my heart. I believe we who wear this uniform can recover and still make a difference in this great nation. The power of our blood is within ourselves. The last one. This is Seema's favorite, so that's why I'm reading it. Alright, it's called Permission. Alright. You do not have to sacrifice for others as you suffocate in guilt of expectations unmet. You do not have to bury your pain or emotions to protect the lives of the Marines you lead. You do not need to write a poem to express the words from your heart that struggle continue to contend with the uniform you wear. You can let the concrete that protects your heart turn to glass and let others see the true you. You can be a miracle with your words to reach others who cannot speak. You can be a new you who discovers herself for the very first time. You can let yourself feel and express true happiness, joy, love, and a smile. You can see beyond what you can't see or what you believe you will see to achieve. Growing up, I didn't have an artistic ability at all. I was a jock and an athlete. That's why I majored in Bachelor of Science degrees. And until I met Seema for writing and Patrick for painting 2 months ago, or actually about a month ago, they asked me to paint for the very first time, and I looked at them like they were crazy. And said, I'm an athlete, I don't know how to put a brush to paint. And I fell in love with it and realized that I may not be able to be an athlete anymore, but there are talents that I've found with the help of a lot of individuals in this room and a lot of different programs that are offered out there. So I believe in combat paper and the people that give the effort to helping the wounded warriors. So thank you for everybody who contributes to be able to help us, and I appreciate it. It's helped me out a lot. And like you said, I would never in a million years be able to express some of the stuff that I've been able to write in paper. So thank you. But thanks guys.
David Rodriguez.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Rodriguez. I'm active duty Navy. Been in the Navy for 8 years. This is my second time reading, and I love this program. It has inspired me to want to start my own nonprofit. It's just brought a lot. It brought a lot to me, and I think it's saving my life every day when I write. It's amazing. But thank you for letting me share. I am not Exhibit A or B, so please do not label me. I walk into a room and I hear a voice. Hello, Mr. Rodriguez. Please have a seat. As I sit, I notice 12 pairs of eyes staring directly at me. I am anxious. I'm not comfortable. I feel like an experiment, so I don't look back. Instead, I look down at my feet. The awkward silence is loud, so loud that I can hear my own heartbeat. I feel like the walls are closing in. Finally, the sound of a click from a pen. I guess these doctors are ready to begin. Question after question, as if it's an interrogation. I'm feeling irritable, but I can't act out because then I'll find myself impatient. Then when you don't answer their questions, they try to read your thoughts. To buy themselves some time, they jot down some bullshit because That's what they were taught. By this time, I feel worse than before I walked in. These doctors think they got me all figured out by what they wrote down with their little clickety pens. I can't speak for everyone, but these doctors like to feed you medicine. And I wouldn't be surprised if they gave me 800 milligrams of ibuprofen for my depression. I bet if they could dissect my brain, they would. Because although the free mind is beautiful, it will forever be misunderstood. And this is my way of, this is my contribution. My art is my contribution to the world. This is another one I have. Let us be free. I want to be free. Can anyone hear me? I'm speaking loudly, but I have no voice. And I am a slave, so I have no choice. Enslaved in the darkest place, in a world where I feel like I have no space, I have no place. The absence of color equals darkness, so there is no race. The darkness is cold and suppressive. It suppresses my energy. This explains the lack of synergy. I isolate myself, and all of my friends and family became enemies. I am not happy, and I will no longer pretend to be. I am a slave trapped in my own mind. It's dark, it's cold, and no one knows. They think everything is just fine. These invisible shackles are getting heavier as I drag them. I ask myself, will I ever break free, or will I die in the darkness, a slave where society thinks I'm crazy?
Donate.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Timbers. I've been in the Navy for 9 years, going on 10 years. Been in since 2004. I was stationed in Pearl Harbor before I got stationed in Annapolis to teach at the Naval Academy. I did 5 deployments to the Arabian Gulf. I'm active duty Navy. I was injured in 2008 with spinal cord injury and started the med board process in 2012. I kind of fought through a spinal cord injury, and but just in 2012 I was assaulted here stateside and by 3 men, and I was beaten pretty badly in April of 2012, really badly, and I suffered from a traumatic brain injury, and then later that year I was chopped up by a boat propeller and almost lost my leg. So 2012 wasn't a very great year for me. And I was, since 2008, I was prescribed narcotic pain medication and became severely addicted to it, and was very, very addicted to it. And on the 27th of December of 2012, I went into inpatient and have been clean and sober ever since. Through my recovery, because of my recovery, being an inpatient, I learned about this program. And it was because of this program, they inspired me to actually start my own company. And I owe these guys more than I could ever imagine. And I can't say enough about Combat Paper and Warrior Writers. They've helped me so much. But I have 2 pieces up. This is a piece I did. I'm the only person since both of my grandfathers to serve, and both of them served in the Navy. This is my grandfather and me, and he served from 1949 to 1953. And I know I'm getting discharged this year, so I put 2004 to 2014. And then here's my other piece. It's the a silhouette of myself on deployment in the Arabian Gulf, and then I took the Don't Tread on Me flag and mixed them together. Eli and I really, Eli helped me a lot on that one. So, and then I'm reading a poem called When I Say I Am Disabled. When I say I am disabled, I am not asking for your compassion. I am simply displaying my given label. When I say I am disabled, I wince in pain and embarrassment as it leaves my lips, because now I struggle mightily to finish tasks that came so easily just a few short years ago. When I say I am disabled, I am not asking to be helped, simply preemptively stating my possible shortcomings, forewarning you that my exterior does not necessarily match my interior. When I say I am disabled, I am not asking for your pity. I am expressing to you that I am different than I once was. When I say I am disabled, I am asking you to imagine that man I used to be, strong, quick-witted, funny, and intelligent. When your mind meets that man in your imagination, please tell him I said hello and that I miss him.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon. I was in the Missouri Army National Guard for 6 years. I lived in Afghanistan for 2 of them, which was a really interesting part-time job. Other than that, like the occasional flood duty and tornado and drought and, you know, Missouri stuff. And I'm unprepared, so I'll be reading off of my smartphone.
Yeah, we're getting some judgment from the back there.
I noticed that. It's all right. I deserved it. So, yes. So this came out of a prompt where I basically was supposed to take a mundane object that, you know, isn't very special and look at it from a variety of ways. And since I was in the Army, I wrote about knives because we have lots of them. So this is 4 about knives. 1. It is one of the 3 things I carry that belong to him, the others being a sleeve cut from a t-shirt and my life. It is bravado vibrating slowly enough to cool into matter, long, jet, serrated on one side, blood groove on the other. It never goes on missions. It rests on the plywood desk of my plywood room in the plywood hut, engaged in a rapt contemplation of the thought of the thought of the thought of his name. I refer to it half-jokingly as my escape lever. If shit hits the fan, stick it in, pull down. 2. Not unlike the one my neighbor held against my throat one afternoon, red with a white cross, equidistant arms, blade, spring-loaded scissors, screwdriver file, tweezers, and toothpick. I lost the toothpick. After that, I carried the knife less and less until it nested finally in the drawer of my nightstand with other knick-knackery. I never understood why there had been a toothpick to begin with, but for want of it, the whole thing seemed broken. My brother's was blue, but marked with an identical white cross. 3. As instructed, I angle the blade pointed downward, then arc up and forward as I push down. Before, my fingers always spindled out like maids in pink dresses offered up to a guillotine. Cutting zucchini into stumps, I describe my mother's zucchini recipe, a recipe that has never worked for me. I have no idea if this makes me a liar. 4. 2 of my lovers are in Kabul tonight. Let me know if you decide you want a real knife, he said the month before he gave it to me. So I beseech the world in the only language I know it understands. My prayer bowl cradles a small fire in its cool ceramic body. The knife, its signature of manufacture, shimmers golden color, signing itself continuously into the hard metal. When doubts cloud my thoughts, I scrape them up with the knife and stick it in the fire. I watch them evaporate, like spider webs put to torch. So that's that. Happy poem, sad poem, happy poem, sad poem. I'll go with a happy poem. So this is The Beauty of It. Opens with a quote by Mike Kelly, which is, "When you're not in the fight, war can be beautiful." I wonder whether the gravel under my boots is from the mountains or shipped in from some quarry. Lunography calls me to prayer. Lunography calls us all to prayer, but I choose to answer. Lunography doesn't call anyone. Invitation is there. Transitory holy men, wisps of lit dust who smile then dissolve. Walking past generators. Always this drone of the generators. They lull me to sleep from just outside my tent, deep-throated guardians of the perimeter. Volcanoes roaring, islands of light into the vast sea of night. The citadel of burning trash, forge of slag and black smoke, its mouths full of reddest fire. The reeds have grown thick and verdant next to the bridge, where a dead cow is said to be stuck against the grating. They reek, like a corpse flower that never closes. One of the detainees who doesn't speak English was so excited by my clumsy Hochdeutsch that he ranted fluently for 2 whole minutes in German, hands flailing. All I can translate is that he is delighted. There is so much language here. Most of it I will never understand, but that is sometimes a comfort. And sometimes I find myself trying in vain to transcribe the phonemes of Bagram. Thank you.
Star.
I'm Star.
Stop.
And I'm nervous. Don't be nervous. Let's love this room. I really wasn't planning on doing anything, but David asked me to. So, here it goes. All she ever wanted to do was dance, to be placed on the stage and admire the affection of the crowd. She gave her all to them. She didn't need a reason to hide or shelter her pride from the evils of the outside. She could spread her wings and fly high above the pall of the crowd and her onlookers. She didn't even need the spectators, for she could be free and do her own thing whenever she wanted. All she wanted to do was be a dancer. For her movements to entrace those who happened to be near her, she didn't need a reason to fear, but he took it all away from her. In one moment, one selfish instant, he destroyed her innocence because he was not man enough to allow her to make her own decisions. He let his stupidity force his iniquities upon her young innocent body and thrust her into a state of self-hatred and uncleanliness, and all she wanted to do was run away. To end her pain and shame, he took it all from her. He thought she was defeated, but one day she decided she wasn't going to be the victim. One day she decided to snatch back her power from him. She wasn't going to allow this memory to destroy her destiny. She would use her sadness and her anger to provide a voice to the weaker. Her strength would become their strength. Her arms and hands would be used to fight the battles. Her mind and spirit would stand against those oppressors. She would stand on her own 2 legs again, stronger and taller, the way he had left her. Once again, she showed her passion for her life. She would dance to show there was reasons to have second chances in life. She would dance for those silenced victims, for the dancers who had no strength, the ones who could never walk away. Her passion was much too strong for that would happen, because all she ever wanted to do in life was dance. So don't ever give up that dream, because your dance is truly beautiful, and no one can take that away from you, and she is me.
Okay, so the final 2 readers were participants last year in our workshops, and they're now both warrior writers, combat paper facilitators. So first up, Willie Young.
Willie!
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm on happy pills, so I'm going to smile a lot, yeah? But I tell a joke, my poems all rhyme because I went to public schools. Not supposed to laugh. People aren't supposed to laugh at those, but I guess that is the state of our education system. I'm a 19-year Army veteran. I've been in the Army for 19 years, and it's been a long ride. My ride's coming to an end pretty soon here. and I participated in the workshop. Like Kevin had said before, I was a participant in the workshop. The person that actually took me to the workshop is here tonight, and I'm very grateful that she took me, even though the first day she took me to the workshop, I pouted like a spoiled child and threw myself on the floor. I refused to write, and I refused to do hippie art, and I sat out in the hallway, and the next day when they brought me back, I went back inside and I decided to give it a try, and I've been hooked ever since. I've been writing, I've been doing artwork. My piece is the helmet with the 4 girls in the headband, and the piece is called Coming Back for Her, because I used my children as an inspiration when I was deployed to war, you know, to stay alive over there and make sure I made it back home. So it's a very special piece for me. It's very deep, and I wrote some poetry, and we're gonna fire it up. First one's called The Dressing Room. 120 privates standing in line. Only God knows what was going through my mind. Haircuts were finished, measurements were too. There was only one major issue left to do. Girls would become women and boys would turn into men. It was uniform time. Let the soldiering begin. My turn came up and they handed me my hat. You're not a thug anymore, you can't wear it to the back. Underwear, t-shirts, and towels, 6 each. They were all this brown color. We weren't going to the beach. Blouses and trousers came quickly. We're in a track meet. Socks and boots meant that our outfits were complete. We all looked at each other with quite some surprise. Some were crying, others smiled like they just won a prize. We knew we were just trainees, not ready for war, but looking like we looked, we weren't children anymore. We all wanted to be warriors. We all wanted to fight. We all wanted to be instruments of America's might. Tall and lean, mean and green, U.S. Army fighting machines. I never imagined in that short of a time, just changing my outfit could so quickly change my mind. This last one is a memorial poem for the friends that I've lost. If I inked 3 tears high on my cheek, would you believe that I could cry? If I drew 2 wings upon my back, would it mean that I could fly? With a question mark on my forehead, would you still keep asking why? If I write forgive me across my chest, does that mean I'll never die? When I take the name of KIAs and scroll them on my arm, its length will make you stop and stare and cause you some alarm. Youngsters will clutch their mother's thighs, but I mean them no harm. I consider it a talisman, a twisted good luck charm. So when I take the artist's chair and lie down on my back, the tattoo gun will start the buzzing, sounding the attack. The needles spit out many colors, reds and greens and black, but rip the flesh right off my bones. It still won't bring them back.
Wow.
Last up, Joe Barrett.
What's everybody doing tonight? My name is Joe Merritt. I'm an active duty Marine. I got brought into the combat paper family community last year when I was a patient, like a lot of these other guys. And as a facilitator, I want to say special thanks to all the participants who came out this week and what you taught me when I was trying to teach you something, which seems to happen a lot. So thanks for coming out and giving it all that you did. I was going to try to do this without looking at it, but I always get messed up when I go last because now I got everybody else's poem in my head. This is called Guilt. The never invited punctual guest, if you could call a dreaded reminder that feeding off what ifs like small fish that clean sharks, always riding on questions of different past possibilities. The mode of your travel is not my pain, it's your stench on me. After cold sweats of an hour's sleep, the repugnant odors of self-loathing swirled in defeat. Only a vapor of you can destroy my nerves, my system, my resolve. Passing through my pores, leaving subtle reminders of poor decisions and missed opportunities. So I wash myself in consciousness and reason, cleanse myself in personal victories. For the fear that they may smell this death on me, I hide this decay in perfume boxes in case that you ever leave, as a reminder that I can still save me. Thank you. Woo! Got one more, and a lot of you might have heard this, but for the first time since I've been in this program, both my parents are able to be out here tonight, so I want to read this one again. This is called Pray to the God. When your Egyptian cotton sheets hold the comfort of twisted metal teeth, you find yourself contorting to sleep, squeezing your bones into the irony of an empty love seat. Those bunk beds are what has become the smashed clock of where you imagined your 20s. Its gears and springs lay across cluttered floors. Childhood toys are no longer memories. They're the priorities that lead to the sink full of dishes, a mind full of trains, a bedside coffee pot, and the extra 5 minutes before waking them up. A bird settles. It's kicking up a storm of sand. The sand settles in the deepest parts of you, leaving an uneven deckled edge in your mind. Nothing will ever fit perfectly with it again. They've been gone for some years. These dog-eared pages are their ghosts, the worn-out shoes you won't let go of. Watch them. Yes, you. Watch them load them on the bird. Again. Watch them. A mind reloading images like your gas-operated, belt-fed, crew-served, fully automatic weapon. Wake up from it. Your skin's like a wet bar of soap. Roll over and see that the only person there is staring at you through a dirty vanity mirror. The dresser that held the linen is empty. Lay in the metal teeth. Pray to the gods of warrior fathers. Thank you.
That's our show. Thanks for coming out tonight. Stop by the refreshment table, stop by the information and merch table. Keep the conversation going. Thanks for coming out.
We're going to do a group photo for everybody.
Kendra, you don't want to get up there and put all those people? Nope.
Brandon, just a group photo for everyone else in the show. That corner's fine right here. I'm not doing this. Post it. Ma'am. We use a tripod and take the photo, but yeah.